Hi everyone, my name is Scarlett. Welcome to Scout Investigates. Today we're looking at a tragic murder of a 19-year-old girl in America. She was the stepdaughter of a UFC heavyweight fighter, Walt Harris. This case attracted national attention and has significant impact on Alabama's bail system, leading to the creation of Aniah's Law. Aniah Haley Blanchard was born on June 22nd in year 2000. She was born and grew up in Homewood, a suburb of Birmingham, Alabama. Homewood is an affluent suburb with the things you would expect to find in such a place, like cafes, casual restaurants, and independent boutiques, not to mention a rich network of hiking and mountain biking trails. Her mom, Angela Haley Harris, is a registered nurse and works in Birmingham, and her biological dad is a businessman. She also had an elder brother named Elijah Blanchard. When Aniah was little, her parents got divorced and her mom remarried with Walt Harris. Walt Harris stands at 6'5" and weighs about 254 pounds and is ranked 8th in the UFC heavyweight rankings as of this video. They soon had a child and, by all reports, everyone in the family gets along with each other. Aniah graduated from Homewood High School. Perhaps due to her stepfather's influence, Aniah loved sports and she played softball in the high school. At the time of her death, she was a student at a community college and was studying early childhood education and had already moved out. She had ambitions of transferring to Auburn University, but unfortunately, a series of unfortunate events meant she was never able to realize the goal of hers. October 23, 2019 was a Wednesday. Aniah spent a day and an evening with her family, and when it was 10 o'clock, her brother Elijah said he wanted to go home because he still had some stuff to do the next day. Aniah and her brother Elijah grew up together and were very close with each other, and they both took comfort in the fact that they only lived 10 minutes away from each other. So Aniah dropped Elijah off at his home at 11 p.m. With a bid farewell and a drive home safe from her brother, Aniah left and drove home alone. Aniah knew that being alone at night as a young woman can be quite dangerous, so she always shared her real-time location on Snapchat with her friend and roommate Sarah O'Brien. Sarah was also notified that she was driving home that night, so at 11:09 p.m., Sarah messaged Aniah, "Are you almost home?" And Aniah replied, "Yeah." However, 30 minutes passed and yet there was no Aniah. So Sarah messaged Aniah again, asking her if she had a change of plans. Aniah replied she was out with a man named Eric, and he was someone she had just met. Sarah was concerned about Aniah's safety, so she opened her Snapchat and checked Aniah's location again, and Aniah was shown to be around a student accommodation. So Sarah assumed Aniah was hanging out with some friends at an apartment complex where there was plenty of other students to keep an eye on things. So Sarah went to sleep after that. The next day morning, Sarah went to Aniah's room to check if she was there, and she was surprised to find out that Aniah was never home since last night. Sarah was concerned because Aniah had always been a cautious person, and it's just out of character for her to stay overnight somewhere else and not letting her roommate know. So Sarah put out her phone and checked Aniah's location again. But this time, her location was not even shown on Snapchat, which implies that her phone might have been switched off. Sarah then reached out to Elijah. Elijah knew that Aniah had to babysit for a family on that day, so Elijah called the family but was told that Aniah didn't show up for work. Elijah then called his mom and stepfather, Angela and Walt, telling them Aniah's missing. They immediately drove from Birmingham to Auburn Police Department on October 24th to report the disappearance. The police rushed to Aniah's apartment and found that Aniah had left her dog alone overnight. Her mother knew that was not something Aniah would do because the dog was like a baby. Aniah's phone activity ended at 11:47 p.m. and was powered off in the vicinity of the Clarion Inn Motel on South College Street. Surveillance video showed Anaya in the Chevron gas station in Auburn at 11:21 p.m. Anaya went to the convenience store at the gas station and bought herself some drinks and snacks. Anaya's vehicle was last seen driving towards Montgomery, which is about an hour west of Auburn. On the same day, Anaya's stepfather, UFC heavyweight fighter Walt Harris, posted a video on Facebook pleading for the public's help in finding his stepdaughter. It soon received national media coverage on this case. The following night on Friday, October 25th, Anaya's 2017 Honda CR-V was found at an apartment complex in Montgomery. The vehicle was damaged with a bullet hole in the side passenger door, with shell casings lodged in the left cup holder. After they opened the door, the police found a substantial amount of blood in the front passenger seat, later confirmed to be Anaya's. There's also a distinctive odor of cleaning solution in the car. Based on all this, it was speculated that Anaya was very likely to be suffering a life-threatening injury at the very least. Just 1 week after her disappearance, a task force of several law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, was formed. The Alabama governor issued a proclamation authorizing a $5,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and conviction. UFC President Dana White pledged an additional $25,000. The reward later rose to over $105,000, with much of the money coming from the various sources, including UFC light heavyweight GOAT Jon Jones. Anaya's stepfather, Walt Harris, cancelled all his upcoming fights. All he wanted at the time was to find Anaya and see her returning home safely. After repeatedly looking at the surveillance video at the Chevron gas station, the police found a person of interest. This man was in the store at the same time as Anaya, and he was seen buying alcohol and looking in Anaya's direction. A witness allegedly saw Anaya and the man interacting outside the store near her car. The witness also claims to have seen him force her into the car against her will and then leave with her in the vehicle. The witness told his colleague about this event, but was told to mind his own business. So the witness didn't take any actions after what he saw. The police eventually identified this man as 29-year-old Ibrahim Yazid. Ibrahim had an impressive rap sheet, and he was freed on a $295,000 bond at the time of Anaya's death. Ibrahim had been charged with possession of marijuana, robbery, kidnapping, and attempted murder. The charges are connected to an alleged crime in January 2019, during which 4 assailants robbed and beat 2 men in a hotel in Montgomery. One of the victims, a 77-year-old man, was reportedly left unconscious, unresponsive, severely injured, and near death. The suspect is also accused of attempting to kill 2 police officers in 2012 by ramming his car into theirs. In June 2020, Ibrahim was charged with the murder of a man and an attempted murder of a woman who was shot in the face. After an examination, it was confirmed that Ibrahim's DNA matches the DNA found in Anaya's car. On November 7th, police issued an arrest warrant for Ibrahim on suspicion of first-degree kidnapping. He has been held in the Lee County Jail without bond since then. His attorneys filed documents claiming that he was facing death threats, and fittingly so, he was then moved to solitary confinement. On November 22nd, police arrested Antwon Fisher, alleging that he disposed of evidence and provided transportation for Yazid. According to Fisher, Yazid came to their mutual friend's home in the morning of October 24th. Fisher claimed to have seen Blanche's vehicle parked near some bushes during this time. Yazid allegedly told Fisher that he needed more gasoline for Blanche's vehicle. Fisher then took Yazid to the gas station where they purchased gasoline before going back to their friend's home. Yazid allegedly informed Fisher that he needed to pick something up, and so Fisher drove him, stopping in Montgomery, where Yazid obtained a rifle. Fisher also claimed to have seen Yazid drag what appeared to be 2 legs wrapped in a blanket. Yazid is also said to have spent some time in the woods before returning to the vehicle. Fisher said he confronted Yazid, saying something to the effect of, "Tell me that's not a body." to which Yazid replied, "It won't come back on you and your family." They both went back home after this. Since Fisher had willingly cooperated with law enforcement in this testimony, it was determined under Alabama law that Fisher's conduct did not constitute accomplice liability to a crime, and so charges against Fisher were later dismissed. On November 25th, about a month after Aniah's disappearance, human remains were found in Macon County, in the woods just off County Road 2. Investigators discovered a skull, which appeared to have a bullet hole at the top, along with a lead projectile nearby. The remains of clothing similar to what Blanchard was last seen wearing was also found nearby. On November 27th, the remains were officially identified as Aniah Blanchard's. An autopsy determined that Blanchard was killed by a gunshot wound. So the charges against Yazid were then upgraded from first-degree kidnapping to capital murder. Yazid is currently being held at the Lee County Justice Center without bond, and the district attorney is seeking the death penalty. Aniah's death led to the creation of Aniah's Law, which reforms Alabama's bail laws. Under this new law, Alabama's Constitution guarantees the right to bail for all defendants, except those charged with capital defenses. For these dangerous criminals, there's no such guarantee, and it's a judge's discretion whether to accept or deny a bail request. This law would do a lot in ensuring that dangerous criminals would not be allowed to roam freely and risk endangering the society between court hearings in the state of Alabama. In February 2020, the Alabama House Representative voted unanimously 104-0 in favor of Aniah's Law. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.